Hello YouTube. In today's video I'm going to be starting to make a RMR mount plate for my 1911 slide. The slide will also need to be machined, but we'll take care of that later. For right now I started with a block of 4140 steel. The first thing I'm going to do is create the top surface for the RMR sight. What I mean by that is that, like an RMR mount plate, what I need to do is create a couple of protrusions on the top surface that will engage the openings in the RMR sight. Here you see me using an edge finder. It has a spring-loaded tip, and when it jumps like you just saw, it means you found your edge. So basically you move your part into the tip of the edge finder, and when it moves off center like it did just now, that's when you found your edge. So I am looking for the edge on one side and the edge on the other to then be able to divide the distance in half, and that will find me the true center of the part. Now that I have center, I wanted to make sure and find the left edge of the part so I can measure from it. When I found the edge of the part using the edge finder is 200 thousandths in diameter. So when I found that edge, the axis, the center axis of the mill, was 100 thousandths off. Then I replaced the edge finder with the 3/8 inch end mill, and obviously there's 175 thousandths of a difference because 3/8 is 375 thousandths. The edge finder was 200 thousandths, so 175 thousandths of a difference. So I had to move the part out another 88 thousandths, half of that difference, so that the edge of the end mill here is actually on the edge of the part. So we're going to need to mill down the surface 1 inch 548 thousandths this way, basically. So I'm probably going to do that by doing vertical or y-axis passes. I've decided that I'm going to mill this surface down 60 thousandths. I figured that should be enough of a protrusion for the site to engage and be retained by. So as you can see, I'm just doing y-axis passes. I'm using some cutting oil just to help the bit out a bit. At this point I'm going to need to step over by 155 thousandths. The cutter diameter is 375, so I can go 375 thousandths first, and then another 155 thousandths, and that will position the cutter, this side of the cutter, 155 thousandths away from this surface that we just machined. And this time I've decided to just take all of that material out or off with one pass instead of doing multiple depth passes. And it seems like the mill handled it pretty well. And this is why I found center in the beginning. I wanted to, well, I had to mill between the two protrusions, basically. I measured what the spacing was. It was 730 thousandths, and I knew that my cutter is 375, so I just wanted to push the cutter both directions by the needed amount so I could get the proper spacing. Then again, because I knew that the diameter of those protrusions needed to be 155 thousandths, I just had to step over the diameter of the cutter plus 155 thousandths and mill the edges off. What I'm going to need to do with the file is is take off the corners, basically make them into round buttons as opposed to square. And after that, I'm gonna try to test fit the RMR. So after cleaning up the top surface, which you can see is pretty nice now. Here's how the side goes on. And when it sits there, there's practically no movement at all. So maybe very light, maybe slight movement. I can't feel it, but I imagine it might be there. Obviously the side will be pulled down because right now there's a rubber seal that's kind of fighting it sitting down completely. So when it's screwed in, the side will be pulled down completely. Right now you can see the pegs a little bit, but it's definitely those pegs are definitely going to help keep the sight in place. So that part is done. There's still a lot of machining left, and we'll take care of that next.